indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Please silence your phones, electronic devices. First of all, do we have any citizen concerns?
I might actually have glasses next week. 9 months I've been without. Okay. I've missed a few. I discontinued coming because I felt like I was on the wrong side of this one side versus another difference of opinion. I didn't intend to be a side. I only wanted to be a voice for the citizens who use the services and to inform you of how our mental health system impacts our community. I spoke favorably of the Supervisors region because they deserve to be spoken highly of. That's not being on a side, that's sharing facts. I was pleased with the programs. I would have appreciated sharing more of that information. I felt that I was spoken about when I wanted to be spoken to. There are so many unknowns about moving that it's really scary. A decision this big deserves community input and transparency. Animosity in the community also decreases outcomes.
Thank you. Any other citizens concerns? Hearing none, we'll move on to approval of the agenda.
I'll move it.
Second. Motion, second by DeWitt, to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. Next, we have the consent agenda. Items 3 through 9 constitute a consent agenda of routine action items to be considered by one motion. Items pass unanimously unless a separate vote is requested by a board member. Item 3, approval of the minutes of the February 20th, 2018 meeting. 4 is approval of claims. 5 is county auditor. Received the appointment Kristen Mines as Rock Township Clerk. 6 is board administration public bidder. Approval of notice of property sale resolution for parcel ending in 022, also known as 1615 Pierce. Setting for Tuesday, March 13th at 4:35. Item 7 is human resources. A, approval of memorandum of personnel transaction. B, authorization to initiate hiring process. And item C, approval of reclassification of the Sheriff Department's Clerk 2 to a Senior Clerk. Item 8, Board Administration, approval of resolution for a petition for suspension of taxes through the redemption process for initials SC. 8B is approval of resolution for a tax suspension for initials SM. Number 9, Board of Supervisors, approval of public notice of courthouse 100-year celebration in county newspapers.
I'll move the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Radig, second by Potabom. Any other comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. Since we're a couple minutes early, Dennis, can you do your thing in a couple minutes here for item 11?
Try to. This is just the final update before we have our public hearing. On the first page, I'm showing you what our new proposed tax rates that we have published are going to be. They can be reduced at the public hearing, but if they stay static, this is what it amounts to. Our tax rate for county-wide levies went down 12.6 cents or 1.7%. For the rural townships, it went down 84 cents or 8.13%. You turn the page. Go to the next page. It shows you our operating budgets compared to the current year to next year. Our operating budget went up 2.7 million, and in the capital improvements, it went down 1.67 million for a total increase of 1.698 million. That does include 824,000 for CF project. That's included in our total tax askings and included in our total budget. So it does inflate our budget a little bit. So in reality, our total budget went up about 800,000. Now let's get down to what affects on different land classes. I took the current $100,000 house did not increase the value at all, just compared to 100,000 assessed. And then I rolled it back to what the rollback currently is and what the rollback is for next year. So on the inside the city limits for for city residents peoples, their tax on a $100,000 house will be taxed at $55,620. So their tax will actually go down $16.79 or 3.98%. For commercial, you're going to see a reduction of $11.37, which means 1.7%. When you get into rural townships, the residential properties are going down $60.68 or 10.27% reduction. On commercial property, the 100,000 rollback will go down $76.06 or 8.15%. For ag lands, it's going up $40.54 or plus 8.47. Asterisk behind this, the reason that is going up, the assessments have gone up dramatically, and also the rollback went up 7%. So the combination of those two, that's why the ag lands do have a tax increase. Values, the board has no control of. Rollbacks, the board has no control of. So all in all, it does paint a pretty good picture for the county side on our tax rates and our tax askings. Any questions? Oh, you're here. We have questions after you're here.
All right, we're at the set time for a public hearing and sale of property parcel ending in 007, also known as 511 Center Street. Public hearing is open. Do we have anybody commenting on for or against the sale of the property?
I'm to put a bid in on it.
Okay,
That'll be right after the public hearing.
we'll get right there.
Hearing none, Mr. Chair, I move that the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Motion by Taylor, second by Ung to close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. We'll open it for public bidding. Sir, can you identify yourself and your address, please?
George Naylor,
Okay.
1114 West 6th Street,
And what is your opening bid?
193.
193. Is that the minimum bid?
Yeah.
Do we have any other bidders on this piece of property? Come up and identify yourself, please, and your address.
My name is Jennifer Santos. I live on 1101 West 5th Street.
And do you have a bid?
300.
$300? Okay. Do we have a counter bid?
Yes, 350.
$350? Do we?
400.
$400? Do we have a counter bid?
450.
$450?
500.
$500? You're done? Okay. Do we have any other bids for this property? This current bid is $500.
And then, is that for Jennifer, or is it for your mom? What's your mom?
Londi.
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 And it's Santos' last name.
Duarte.
Duarte.
Same address.
All right, so I would, hearing no other bids, I'd move we sell for $500 to Londi Duarte.
Second.
Motion by Raddick, second by Ung to sell the said property for $500. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Sold for $500. Thank you very much. Heather will take care of you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I did have a question for
Yes.
Dennis, if we can go back there. So Dennis, on the operating budget side, you're saying that amount should theoretically be reduced by $865,000
Yes.
if one wanted a truer picture of where operations increase. Okay.
And just a little bit more information, see if we got a second here. You actually reduced through the use of funds such as local option sales tax, gaming revenues, and expenditure cuts, the authorization of positions. You did cut $1,666,468 out of the budgets. That brings our tax rates to the lowest in 15 years, and for the cities and for the townships, the lowest in 14 years.
My last question is the mental health levy that we passed considered part of the operational budget?
Yes.
Okay, so, and the only reason I wanted to ask that is we know that we went ahead and passed it at the max levy in order to be able to, hopefully, in future years, have a reserve that could be relied upon to have,
Bring it back down.
to bring it back down. Is that a fair assumption?
Yes.
So I just want to make sure that that caveat is out there as well, because, you know, looking at operational budgets, I just want to make sure that that is
And that amounts to about $1.3 million increase. So we're going to take CF in consideration. Taking that in consideration, your actual operating budget did not go up much.
If at all.
Increases.
And- right?
Yeah, pretty much
Okay.
wipes it out.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else?
Any questions for Dennis? Thank you, Mr. Butler. Next item is County Sheriff. 12A is approval of CIP request to pay the claim from Electronic Engineering for alarming 3 buildings at Prairie Hill.
Todd Witt, Sheriff's Office. Sometime back, it's earlier this late summer, early fall, we found a need to have those buildings alarmed out at Prairie Hill for security reasons I really don't want to go into in an open meeting, but I was told to get the bids, get the work done, and come back. And Dennis suggested that we put this on the agenda for CIP project.
So is this supposed to be for our 19 budget that we're just,
Yes, it'll come out of our fiscal year 18 budget, because I think we had money set aside for some projects out Prairie Hills. We didn't exactly know what the projects were, and this is some that have come up due to closure.
so you said the funding's coming from where?
Yes. 17 and 18. We had money in both years. So there's money there.
You have estimates on that? I didn't see that. Let's see. Engineering, okay, sorry. 6,000.
Those were presented last year.
One was $6,031. I think the other one was around $16,000.
So you just showed the one in the backup material then?
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
I'd move it.
Second.
Motion by Taylor, second by Audubon. To approve $6,031.54 for securing electronics, 3 buildings at Prairie Hills. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. Item B, approval of CIP request to pay for the upgrade and installation of Cambium wireless link between the Sheriff's Office Training Center and Prairie Hill and the WIT Tower.
We've identified that the current wireless system out at Prairie Hill, what was in the old building, isn't sufficient for what we're going to be doing in the new building. So down here from WCICC approached me and basically kind of guided us through what he felt we needed out there and what the cost would be, and that's what you have in front of you. And he'll explain all the technical stuff if you have questions.
Right. John Malloy, IT. What the major was alluding to is the connection we have out at Prairie Hill, the old facility, is approaching 7 years old, and it's what they call a 20 megabit half duplex system. We're recommending they go up to 100 or 200 megabit half duplex system, so their throughput would be increased by about 5-fold. Again, just like having a laptop or something that's 7 years old, its time has come. So in assessing the facility, this is probably a minimum of what they should have. And we would have the ability to upgrade that throughput with like a software key if need be.
Like what needs for this kind of network are you talking?
This wireless radio would connect actually downtown out to Prairie Hill. So we bounce off the WIT Tower, and then so anything that we have here, they can have there. Granted, not at the speeds we have here, but it would be a solid pipe between the two.
So I'm just saying, like needs-wise, that meant to be more of a training center, or what is the need?
Well, we've got a dedicated office out there that our patrol will be using, our reserves will be using, which will require computers in that office. And then with the 2 large classrooms we've got out there, everybody brings a laptop now, and they're going to need some sort of you start to get a bunch of laptops on a wireless connection that won't handle it, and nothing's going to work.
So are you staffing this more than in the past? Are you planning to have more staff out here than the past?
No staff, other than it would be used periodic. The office would be used periodically by patrol and whenever the reserves are working. What the biggest concern, I think, what theirs was when we have whole classes out there, and we've got 50 people, 75 people in a classroom, and they've all got a laptop in front of them, and they're going to want to use it wireless. They want to have wireless access.
And the current facility is 7 years old. Its time has come.
Okay, well, that's what I was getting to. What was the need for it? So.
We also needed for our HVAC systems to control that remotely to the facility.
So anytime you're network connected, you open up a whole host of opportunities. I imagine if there's some surveillance they would need to do, they can purportedly do that as well. And as a point of reference, we are putting in, Glenn, instead of he's facilitating a wireless upgrade, I think it's 5 or 6 out in Morningside, we're putting the exact same system.
That's what I was going to ask, if this is the same as they're doing at 6.
Okay.
I'll move it. Second.
Motion by Radig, second by Ung. Explained very well, Mr. Director. Thank you. Any other questions? Well, you said he was just the IT guy. You didn't have the good. Motion and second for approval of $16,416.17 for a CIP request. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Carries 5-0. Item 13, Building Services. Action item for Kenny. Approval of contract addendums with Baker Group for Courthouse HVAC Project 1, Trosper Hoyt Juvenile Detention Master Control, and Security Project, and the Trosper Hoyt Elevators Project.
So the item before you is an action item to complete addendums to 3 different contracts which we have with the Baker Group. Those are the Courthouse HVAC Upgrade Project, the Juvenile Detention Master Control Project, and the Trosper Hoyt Elevator Project. We are doing this as a means of separation on some contracts with the county and the Baker Group. Due to some restructuring that are going to take place within Building Services and some other endeavors that Baker Group is interested in pursuing, we decided that this was the best path forward for everyone. This will save the county $28,564 on the HVAC project, $9,937 on the Juvenile Detention Master Control project, and $27,897 on the Trosper Hoyt Elevator project. It'll certainly put more responsibility on the Building Services Group. Baker Group will continue on a very limited basis to assist with these projects until they're finished out and until all the paperwork is complete on those. If you've got any questions, I'll invite Shane to come up and assist with answering any of those that you might have on the Baker side of the proposals.
I would move to approve the contract addendum for the Courthouse HVAC project number 1. Probably want these separate.
Joshua, yes, that's almost a question for you. Since we've approved the language already, I think we could probably do it in one motion.
We did the contract separately originally.
Yeah, I would say separate motions would probably be the best practice here.
Second.
Motion by Radig, second by Taylor to approve the HVAC upgrade for $28,564. That's what you're,
The contract addendum
the contract addendum?
to the courthouse HVAC project.
Okay. Any other questions? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Carries 5-0.
I would move the contract addendum for the Trosper Hoyt Juvenile Detention Master Control project.
Second.
Motion by Radig, second by Ung for the Trosper Hoyt project. Questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Carries 5-0.
And I would move the Trosper Hoyt addendum to the elevator project.
Second.
Motion by Radig, second by Ung to move the Trosper Hoyt elevator project. Any other questions or concerns? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Passes 5-0.
I thought maybe there'd be an addendum for all the parking tickets these guys have been getting out there on the controls.
I'm sure Shane would like to see that. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
I think I've only had about 22.
Yeah. The city parking fund thanks you.
Secondary roads, item 14, Martin Era. 14A, consider approval of federal aid project agreement for project number BROS ending in 5F-97.
This agreement's with Iowa Department of Transportation to fund a project to replace a bridge on County Road K67. I want to say that's Hancock Avenue. This would be what they call the Crooked Bridge. It's on the gravel road south beyond where the pavement ends, near the 200th Street intersection. The program agreement is based on an estimated cost of $800,000. The project will be paid 80% of the total project cost for the new county bridge. I recommend approval of the agreements.
I would move the approval of the agreement for the BROCO project.
Second.
Motion by Radig, second by Ung. You want to say that again for the BROCO 97 project, Mr. Radig?
The 133 is the important part.
133 is the important part. All right. Any other questions?
I thought we followed the bro code here, so.
I do like that. I haven't seen it called that before.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Passes 5-0.
Engineers are far too literal. We call them BROS or BRS.
Item B, consider approval for contract for bridge inspection, contract for 2018.
This contract is with Calhoun Burns and Associates. Calhoun Burns has been doing our bridge inspections for a number of years. We're in the, I think we have 2 years left before we have all of our bridges rated for the new load. I'd like to stay with this consultant for that period. They do a very conscientious job of inspecting our bridges. This year's project is a little bit bigger. Last year we did 137 bridges and we just got the results of the inspections. Next year will be 170 structures. We have a total of 300 structures over 20 feet. Some bridges, one of the reasons we're a little long is we do some bridges every year because of their advanced deterioration. And we need to keep a closer eye on those, which is part of what we do through the inspection program. I recommend approval of the contract with Calhoun Burns and Associates.
I would move to approve the contract with Calhoun Burns.
Second.
Motion by Radig, second by Ung to approve a contract for bridge inspector. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Passes 5-0. Item C, approval of the certificate of completion for project LM 208 with Midwest Contracting for $127,366.
M208 was the replacement of an existing structure on Pocahontas Avenue, north of 280th Street, with a 12 by 10 precast culvert. The work has been completed in a satisfactory manner. I recommend approval of the completion certificate. Contract amount was $127,366.
I would move the approval of the completion certificate.
Second.
Motion by Radig, second by Ung. Approval of certificate of completion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Passes 5-0. Item D, approval of certificate of completion with Vogel Traffic Services for $84,791.
The work done here was pavement markings on various county roads. This is replacement of the yellow center line and white. We do between a third and a half of our pavement system each year. The work again was done in a satisfactory manner, and I recommend approval of or acceptance of the project by the board. Total contract amount was $84,791.30.
Did you have them do more, or was that?
We had them do a little bit more, yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, I'll move the approval of the certificate of completion for 14D.
Second.
Motion by Radig, second by Potabom for item D. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Passes 5-0. Item E, approval of certificate of completion with Graves Construction for $437,110.
This project was to replace Bridge W107. It was on 330th Street, roughly 5 miles to the west of the town of Danbury. The bridge again was done, completed in compliance with the plans and specifications. I recommend approval of the completion certificate.
I would move that too.
I will second the motion by Radig for approval of certificate of completion with Graves Construction. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Passes 5-0. Item F, consider bids for project number MW73.
Ben has bid tabs for the board's use, so keep track. It looks like we have several bidders on this project. It's always nice to see.
I always feel like you should have some kind of background music for this.
Yeah.
You could sing, Keith.
Don't say that.
Nobody wants to hear the engineer sing, that's for sure. I could bring my daughter in, but her voice is big enough, I don't think any of us would hear anything else. She's the opera singer.
Oh, yeah.
Get those to Kenny.
Bid bond has been presented.
Kenny, thank you.
Total bid price, $120,707.17.
From who?
120-707-17. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't read off who that was. That's Joy Dirt Construction of Cushing, Iowa.
Joy Dirt?
Joy Dirt, yes.
What are you going to do with that one, Keith?
Nothing. That's somebody's name.
Happy Dirt.
Wasn't there a movie close to that?
The next bid is from Dixon Construction of Correctionville, Iowa. Bid bond was attached. Total bid price, $107,466.78. 107-466-78. Next bid is from Nelson and Rock Contracting of Ottawa, Iowa. Bid bond is included. Total bid price, $97,455.90. 97-455-90. Next bid is from Clark Construction Company of Whiting, Iowa. Bid bond is included. Total bid price, $149,502.72. 149,502.72. And the final bid is from L.A. Carlson Contracting of Merrill, Iowa. Bid bond is included. Total bid price, $111,373.22.
So with that 10% difference, do you think there's anything that you need to look over? Or?
Let me just have a minute to look over that little bit. I would recommend award of the contract to Nelson and Rock Construction for $97,455.90.
I'll move that recommendation.
Second. Motion by Radig, second by Ung, to accept the bid from Nelson and Rock for $97,455.90. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Passes 5-0. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
And you need, here, hand that down to Mark, will you? Reports on committee meetings. Mr. Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We had a very, very good historical centennial meeting today. We had a press conference, and there were quite a few people in attendance. Thankful to our county employees for coming, as well as media. I think 3 or 4 media outlets, and then the contest winners of the Art Splash. As far as high-level overviews, we have published now, and I'll make sure that this goes in the next agenda, the order of events over the 5 days. So that should be very exciting. We have nationally renowned speakers that Jim Jung has worked to bring in. So I think that's exciting. I'm hoping to hear from the governor's office in the next couple of weeks about the governor and lieutenant governor. Thank you to Supervisor Ung for what looks to be a great website that will have everything there, and an audio-visual tour that will be stunning from IT. So should be really good. I'm very appreciative for all the help that preservationists and committee members have done behind the scenes. So it's a good thing.
Thank you for your help on that as well.
Sure. In addition to the short committee meeting Mr. Taylor mentioned today, attended the Health and Wellness Committee meeting last week. Highlights are employee participation is up for the wellness screening from 317 to 365. Some of the percentages were down slightly, but that's to be expected when you have an influx of new people. We're doing all right. You know, we're in normal range for blood pressure, smoking, diabetes, and cholesterol is a little bit up, but weight management is what we're dealing with and what many companies deal with, and it's nothing out of the ordinary, but that's the point of improvement for Woodbury County. Naturally Slim program was a big success. We talked about bringing that back, perhaps on an annual basis, having people that have been impacted by the program show up at the kickoff and give testimonials on how it's worked well for them. I attended last week we mentioned a CASA fundraiser with Supervisor Taylor, and it's the second annual, they call it the Light of Hope fundraiser. It shares what those advocates do, and it was well attended as always and well done. Also this afternoon attended Sioux Rivers, first time this year with Supervisor Radig. There was budget talk for information only. There was discussion about pending Senate File 2252, which would add potentially several different core services. There wasn't really discussion on how those would be funded by the state if they mandate those extra services. But there is also an information item presented by an integrated telehealth company out of Des Moines, which will potentially be on for action next month as far as a new funding commitment. Mr. Radig, anything to add?
I'd say they brought up telehealth and that IPS employment as two different providers to potentially partner with as a region come next month. I don't really know that I plan to support either initiative since we're not necessarily paying all our providers what they adequately need in the first place, but that's what the region's brought forward, so we'll see what happens.
That's all I have.
Sure. Yeah, one more. It wasn't a committee meeting per se, but Supervisor DeWitt and I attended a presentation that was put on by Dick Owens at the museum and had different various entities and individuals, concerned citizens. It's probably a 2-hour discussion on the move potentially to Rolling Hills. And I actually think it was very, very good because we were able to have, I think, an open discussion and probably had a half hour or 40 minutes of back and forth. So I want to publicly actually thank and commend the opportunity, and was appreciative that I think it was a healthy discussion. That's all I want to say about it. But.
And Dennis, thank you for joining us there too. That was helpful. Mr. Pottebaum, do you have anything? Neither do I. Do we have any other citizen concerns?
Just want to update you on a couple of things. I talked to you last week about the software. That's been going well. We had a company in that we've been visiting with, the company that the two assessors are currently using. As we go through that process, it's been pretty positive as far as the comments that we've gotten back, and Michelle's taken the lead on that, but we also met with John Malloy, and we talked about what we're going to need to proceed, and we'll probably at some point have to have some outside person come in to help us with those discussions, and I talked with Dennis about that, and he said that we could probably do that through the CIP, and we'll bring that to you before we do that, but it's going to be a necessary thing. It's going to be a huge project to get going. The second thing is my parking cop duties. I was supposed to bring you a plan on July 1st, but been holding off with retirements and that sort of thing. I think we've got that kind of put in place. Kenny and I love the parking responsibilities that we have to do, but I'll be bringing that to you fairly soon too. And then the third thing is on the election, the equipment. I've been dragging my feet for, it's been a couple of years now as we look at replacing that equipment, but some of the things are finally starting to come together. I was hoping the legislature would allow us to use vote centers so that we could limit some of the expenditures that we're going to use, but it doesn't appear that that's going to happen. So one of the things that I was looking for was electronic poll book that kind of integrates with that equipment, and the company that I really am interested in is finally signed a deal to move into Iowa with Lynn County. So that's something, that's a positive for us, and so we are going to start moving. You've heard that for a couple of years now, but we are going to, the longer we can stretch it out a little bit and we continue to use the equipment we have, the useful life will be extended. So we do need to get started on it though. That's all I have.
With the parking, I'd really like a space for a full-size passenger van if you could accommodate one, or maybe move the poles.
Maybe like bus or RV parking, potentially.
Just move the poles 18 inches to the left or right.
Did you get a special badge with that parking cup thing?
No.
How long did it take to get your CDL?
If you got so many passengers, you're about too short of passengers to get to where you need a bigger license, aren't you?
Well,
That's another.
if we get there, I'll let you know.
Had a couple Great Danes back.
Yeah.
You could turn that into an Uber wagon, couldn't you?
I think the time is drawing near to a close, Mr. Chairman.
Do we have any board concerns?
I did want to point out that Iowa has finally been recognized by U.S. World News as the #1 place to live. So they're finally right about something. And then big news, Aldi is coming to Sioux City in 2019. So if anyone wants their big chain discount groceries without joining a club, there you go.
We are on the move. Anything else? We are adjourned.